Hey everyone, welcome to Cells, Structures, and Functions video lesson. This lesson is going to review all of the different parts of the cell and what their function or what their job is. And these are all the same parts that you guys learned about in your cell books, and these are all the same parts that you're doing in your cell model as well. Okay, so starting with the cell wall. The cell wall is just part of a plant cell. Animal cells do not have a cell wall. That's the structure. The purpose or the function of the cell wall is to provide structural support and protection for the plant cell. It also ensures that the cell doesn't take in too much water and explode like a water balloon. The next structure is a cell membrane. Both plant and animal cells have a cell membrane. The function of the cell membrane is to basically protect the cell from its surroundings, and it keeps the cytoplasm all in place. So it's the outside covering that keeps all of the cytoplasm in place, and it protects it. It is semi-permeable, which means it is sort of like a sponge in that it lets some materials through the cell wall. So water might be able to get in and out of the cell. The diagram is only of a plant cell. However, remember this is also in animal cells, and you can look back to your cell booklets for a visual reminder. Okay, the next structure that is part of both plant and animal cells is the nucleus. The function of the nucleus is that it controls gene expression and it helps with DNA replication during the cell cycle. So in just a few weeks, we're going to learn about mitosis, which is one of the different types of ways that cells reproduce and make more cells. So in that, the main important structure for that is the nucleus, because the nucleus has inside of it the nucleolus, and it also has chromosomes. The chromosomes are not in this diagram, but they are in your cell book. Okay, next structure. These are mainly just in plant cells. Some animal cells have them, but for purposes of our studies, we're just going to say that they are mainly in plant cells. The vacuole. The vacuole is the big part, the big organelle in the plant cell. And the function is to store food, water, and wastes. Okay, chromosomes in both plant and animal cells. Again, these are inside of the nucleus. Their function is to store and carry all the information needed to help a cell grow, thrive, and reproduce. They are made of DNA. So the little X looking things in the very middle of the nucleus, those are the chromosomes. Okay, in plant cells only, the structure is the chloroplasts. Chloroplasts' main function is photosynthesis, converting light energy from the sun into chemical energy to give that cell the energy it needs to survive. So plants undergo photosynthesis, animals do not. So it would make sense that animals don't have chloroplasts. Okay, plant and animal cells both have endoplasmic reticulum. The function, it is a membrane network for protein. So the video we watched, those little walking things, those were the proteins. And the endoplasmic reticulum is what the little proteins are on. This diagram has two different kinds, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and the rough endoplasmic reticulum. We're just gonna study just endoplasmic reticulum in general and what its purpose is. Here is an animal cell up close. And you can see that on the outside of the animal cell there's little cilia. Some have a flagella. Plant cells do not have cilia or flagella, so I wanted to point that out to you. There's also a lot of other different parts here that we are not going to be studying. The microfilaments is one of them, the nuclear pores, the nucleolus. We aren't going to get into that much detail. The animal cells. Okay, another one that are in both plant and animal cells are the ribosomes. The function of the ribosomes is they arrange strands of amino acids to be shipped to the DNA. So a cell is like a mini factory. And each of these little structures has a specific purpose in making the whole factory run smoothly. Again, both plant and animal cells have cytoplasm. The function of cytoplasm, first of all, what it is, it's like a gel-like substance. So I explained it in class as kind of like a jello, and all the organelles are floating around, not floating, but sitting in the jello-like substance. So it's mainly water, but there's also enzymes, salt, and organic molecules as well that helps hold the organelles in place. Another one that's in both is the Golgi apparatus. The function of the Golgi apparatus, and this is the little pancake looking thing, it's the bottom, it's blue. The function is the distribution and shipping department for the cell's chemical products. So it takes in different chemical products and then it distributes it to other parts of the cell that need it. Kind of like the postal service. Okay, here is another diagram of an animal cell, and I purposely chose several different diagrams to show you that the diagrams can all look different, but they all have very, very similar parts. This specific animal cell actually has a vacuole. It does not look like the vacuole in a plant cell though. And remember, most animal cells don't have vacuoles. Mostly they just occur in plant cells. Okay, both plant and animal cells have mitochondria. Mitochondria are really important in that they convert energy into forms that are usable by the cell. So mitochondria and the chloroplasts look pretty similar. The mitochondria, however, are usually a little bit bigger than the chloroplasts. So if you look on this diagram, the chloroplasts are the green and yellow oval-shaped parts, and the mitochondria are the reddish, pinkish, brownish oval parts, and they're slightly bigger than the chloroplast. They're not always bigger though. This is just a silly little slide that I stuck in here, so take a moment to look at it. See if you understand the joke. Okay, next. Plant and animal cells both have vesicles. The function of vesicles is mainly involved in the transportation of material in or out of the cell. So those little circles, the vesicles move things in and out of the cell. The cell, remember, has a semi-permeable cell membrane, which means things can go in or out through the vesicles. Okay, animal cells. Animal cells have lysosomes, and we talked about this with our cheek swab lab. That's why we were trying to guess what kind of structures would we see a lot of in our mouths, because we were talking about food and how when we eat food, the process of digestion starts immediately, physical digestion or mechanical with the chewing of our food, but then chemical with our saliva and how it starts breaking down our food. Well, the cells in our mouth have lysosomes, and the function of the lysosomes is that they have enzymes that are necessary for digestion. Animal cells some of them have flagella. The function of the flagella and both the cilia is that it helps cells to move. Okay, so a recap. Remember, the organelles, plant and animal cells, share a lot of the same organelles. So the cell membrane, they both have it. Nucleus, chromosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, cytoplasm, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, vesicle. You could put vacuole, but again, not all animal cells have vacuoles, and they're mainly found in plant cells. Okay, only in plant cells. Cell walls surround the cell membrane in a plant cell. In an animal cell, the outermost part of the cell is the cell membrane. Plant cells have chloroplasts because they undergo photosynthesis while animal cells do not. And remember that they have bigger vacuoles. And many animal cells don't have one at all. Only in animal cells, lysosomes, which have the enzymes necessary for digestion, and flagella cilia.